What if I told you the biggest shift in UK house prices since the 2008 crash is already happening? Quietly, slowly, and right under most people's noses. House prices are now falling at the fastest rate since 2009, and the decisions made in the next 12 to 18 months could define who builds wealth and who gets left behind. If you are serious about understanding money, timing, and long-term opportunity, not headlines or hype, then watch this video until the very end. What you're about to hear could change how you think about property, debt, and financial freedom forever. The sharpest fall. Since the financial crisis, UK house prices are no longer wobbling, they are retreating. Average prices are down around 5% year on year, roughly £15,000 wiped off the typical home. When adjusted for inflation, prices have dropped about 12% in just 18 months. That's not a correction, that's a reset. Some property experts still talk about a soft landing, but the data underneath tells a tougher story. Mortgage approvals have fallen to record lows, transactions have dried up, and affordability has been crushed by higher interest rates. And here's the detail most people miss. Many official house price indexes lag reality. By the time falling prices show up in the data, the shift has already happened on the ground. Demand is falling, and sellers are starting to blink. Forward indicators paint a darker picture. Surveyors are reporting growing pessimism, and sellers are being forced into a position they hate, cutting asking prices. Zoopla reports a sharp fall in demand, especially among mortgage buyers. First-time buyers are stretched, movers are frozen, confidence is draining. Right now, the market is being propped up by cash buyers. Their numbers are actually up slightly, but everyone else is disappearing. Buy-to-let investors are pulling out fast, hit by higher interest rates, falling prices, and years of tax and regulatory pressure. As landlords exit, supply quietly increases. And when supply rises while demand falls, prices don't negotiate, they drop. Interest rates, the shock the market wasn't ready for. Since early 2022, effective mortgage rates for new borrowers have doubled. That alone would be painful, but for a market conditioned by 15 years of ultra-low rates, it's a shock. Mortgage payments as a share of income are now approaching levels last seen in 2007, right before the last crash. This isn't because people suddenly became reckless. It's because prices stayed high while borrowing costs exploded. Unsurprisingly, transactions have collapsed. By mid-2023, property sales were hundreds of thousands lower than the year before. So far, one thing has slowed the fall. Relatively few homes have been listed for sale, but that dam may not hold forever. What global housing markets are teaching us. This isn't just a UK story. Around the world, higher interest rates are deflating property markets. But outcomes differ. In New Zealand, higher rates burst a housing bubble, sending prices down around 15%. In contrast, US house prices have held up surprisingly well. Why? 30-year fixed mortgages. American homeowners locked in cheap debt and now have zero incentive or ability to move. Supply collapsed alongside demand, keeping prices afloat. The UK doesn't have that protection. Most homeowners are on short-term mortgage deals. That means millions are still walking toward higher rates they haven't felt yet. And when rising rates meet rising supply, history shows us exactly what happens next. The remortgaging time bomb. This is where the real pressure builds. While lenders have slightly trimmed headline mortgage rates, they are still more than double what borrowers paid a few years ago. Hundreds of thousands of households will remortgage every single month, including around 200,000 in January 2024 alone. Some will cope, others will cut spending, and some will be forced to sell. Home builders are already struggling to shift new properties and may soon slash prices. If unemployment rises or arrears tick up, supply will increase, and price falls will accelerate. This is not panic. This is mass. Why rising rents won't save house prices. Many assume rising rents will put a floor under house prices, but here's the twist. Higher mortgage rates now mean buying is more expensive than renting for the first time in over a decade. Rising rents don't automatically support prices when ownership costs are even higher. In the past, government interventions distorted the market. Stamp duty holidays, help to buy, quantitative easing, cheap lending. Those supports are gone. They were expensive, politically convenient, and helped inflate prices to historically unaffordable levels. Without them, the market is being forced to stand on its own. The bigger economic forces at work beyond housing, the wider economy is applying pressure. High inflation, weak growth, and a brutal cost of living squeeze have drained savings and crushed deposit building. Real wages fell hard, even if nominal pay has recently started rising again. Crucially, interest rate rises take time to fully bite, sometimes up to 18 months. The UK still hasn't felt the full impact of the past 14 rate hikes. Meanwhile, central banks are trapped between fighting inflation and avoiding recession. Credibility matters, and that means keeping rates higher for longer. Some borrowers are stretching mortgage terms just to survive. 30 and even 40-year mortgages are becoming normal. That lowers monthly payments, but massively increases lifetime costs and pushes debt into retirement. What comes next? And who wins? There is some good news. Lending standards are stronger than before the financial crisis. Most borrowers were stress tested at higher rates. This isn't a reckless credit bubble. It's an affordability reckoning. Forecasts range from mild declines to brutal drops of up to 35% from peak to trough. The truth is, housing moves slowly, like a heavy ship, but once it turns, momentum builds. 2024 is likely to be the year the impact becomes undeniable. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Falling house prices are not purely bad news. They can restore balance, improve access, and reduce wealth inequality. For patient buyers, disciplined savers, and long-term thinkers, downturns create opportunity. If you want to make smarter financial decisions, stop reacting to headlines and start understanding cycles. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs clarity, and remember, wealth is rarely built in booms. It's built by those who stay informed when everyone else looks away.